Hey, welcome to Bacon Trees. Thanks for clicking by. This is Buck. Sunday, August 30th in the afternoon sometime. So I just wanted to make a quick video on a blog post I wrote years ago in 2012 called, Will Club Sound Techs Become Obsolete? Will Digital Sound Systems Run Themselves? It was already happening at the time where clubs were being cheap. Like, not every club, but a lot of, at the club level live sound, a lot of the clubs were being cheap, trying to pay the very, very basic rate. This is, well, anyway, here in Toronto, that's all I know. There was a lot of shows going on here. There was a lot of shows going on here, and it's a hot spot for live events. And I think it will happen in the future, just differently. Things are changing, obviously, with this pandemic. And, you know, it's a real pain because live shows are happening at drive-ins and stuff like that, so we still need sound techs, right? But the clubs aren't. So they'll open up and, you know, people will do certain things to be able to open them up and perform safely. It's going to go on for a while, this situation, unfortunately, because our rulers have told us it's going to go on for a while because they have a crystal ball and they can see into the future because it's part of their plan or something. Anyway, that's beside the point. I'm talking about digital mixers taking over. Now, it was already happening. We played at this one club downtown, and the bar manager came out with a sheet of paper, and she adjusted the analog mixer and the equalization and all that stuff. And before we performed, I said, do you mind if I tweak this a bit before we go on? Because this is what I do for a living, and this is what my friend in the band does for a living. And she said, oh, yeah, sure, because she only went by a checklist. So somebody made her a checklist, and they didn't have a sound person, right? So it was already happening before the advent of digital mixers. And I talked to another guy at this gig. There was like 5 sound people at this one gig. I was doing front of house and had some people that were helping me. And I asked the one guy there, this is just after I wrote the blog, I asked him when we had time to talk, what do you think about digital mixers taking over? I wanted other people's opinions besides what I just kind of wrote. I wrote it without asking opinions first because that was my thinking at the time. And I asked this other front of house mixer, he worked at another club downtown, and he said, well, that was one of the selling points for our club, getting a digital mixer. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, the salesperson said that you don't always have to have a sound person. Wow. So this has been going on for a while, for at least 8-10 years. Don't be afraid. There are ways you can hang on to your gig. So basically the blog goes on about it is already happening in the analog world, and sound techs may be shooting themselves in the foot by requesting a digital mixer at a club, because all a bar manager or a bar owner has to do is turn on the board and go, oh, you guys, you know, Group A, you played here before, right? 4 Mondays ago. Here, let's just Group A, preset. And then the preset comes up and that band is mixed. A friend of mine worked at this prominent cottage country venue, and there was a very prominent band playing, and he basically took the mix from the previous mixer of that band by a USB key or something, putting it in the board and loading up. The whole mix was there. He tweaked it, of course, but the whole mix is pretty much there. So all the ring outs of the monitors and microphone levels, it was there. All the gain controls, it was there. And he tweaked it as he mixed. So he didn't go in like, you know, blind and not know how to mix or set up the show and do it from scratch. He went in there with a preset and then adjusted the preset. So that is key right there. You have to be able to adjust presets. Now, when feedback eliminators and more artificial intelligence for live sound takes over more, we're not going to worry about feedback, or you can have microphone presets and stuff like that. So we're trying to make things easier and easier for sound people to the point where we're not going to be required in the future unless, and this was my point at the time, and I'm reading this blog 8 years later, and I'm going to say the same thing. There are 4 ways I can see how to keep your job, keep your gig if you're a live sound person in a club level where they want to save money and not necessarily hire a sound person. As another note, at different clubs I worked at, they wanted me to set up for a DJ. Here, I'll pay you I'll pay you $40 to set up for a DJ. So you spend a couple hours doing that, hang out for the first half hour, then you can take off. So I don't have to pay you the whole $100 or $125. And we would do it because otherwise there'd be no gig and we needed cash in our pockets. So we did that, yeah. But for a DJ, they're never worried about it. Well, DJs can destroy sound systems, let me tell you. And it's happened when we weren't there. So keep that in mind for a minute. But check this out. Here are 4 ways to, help at least try to keep your job or your gig as a sound person at the club level. Number 1, solidify your liaison skills. Okay, so you become the liaison between artists, managers, bar managers, and you're like the nexus. You're the center of that little club universe, and you become so involved and so knowledgeable about things, being the liaison, passing information back and forth without a big ego, that people will consider, wow, we can't get rid of them because they're more than just a sound person. So basically what I'm saying is, yes, you have to be more than just a sound person. This is the way things are going to happen. Now, number 2, stress the importance of and be good at troubleshooting. There's always going to be trouble during a live show. And when a cheap club manager decides not to hire a person and do a preset, and then they run into problems because once humans get involved, there are going to be problems. Well, they're not going to be able to troubleshoot because they don't have the troubleshooting skills. So be good at troubleshooting. Not only be good at troubleshooting, discuss your troubleshooting with the manager. Say, wow, we just had that major problem with the system, but I fixed it. Just keep letting them know that, right? Reinforce it, right? Kind of like Project Mockingbird. No, I don't have a ulterior motive here or anything. I'm just saying, just keep repeating it because they're going to keep hearing that there was problem solved, problem solved. What if we didn't have a sound person with a digital mixer? Are we going to be able to solve problems as they occur? Maybe not. So keep repeating that. But troubleshooting is key for live shows because something always goes wrong. I've done a video on this before and I've talked about it ad nauseum with people, but yeah, troubleshooting. Just look up troubleshooting. I've got a video on it. Maybe I'll post it at the end of here so you can check it out. Raise your rates for emergency calls. So if they decide, oh, just do a setup and we're going to pay you less money once clubs start opening up, and then they run into a big problem. They're like, oh no, we really need you down here. Well, you're going to state that your rates are higher for that. Hey, it would have been cheaper had you just hired me for the evening, right? So that's a suggestion. Raise your rates for emergency calls. I did that a couple of times. One time I raised it $25 from 100, so 25%. And one time I raised it 50%. And I said, well, in order for me to do that show, like tomorrow night, they wanted me to work on a Friday night and they called me on a Thursday because they had nobody. And I said, well, I do have a premium and it's 50% higher than the top paid person. Well, the top paid person was $100 at this club at that time. I was like, last time I did that gig was maybe 10 years ago or something like that. And they said, okay, well, I guess we'll have to pay it because they had nobody else. So I charged a premium and I got it. And that's happened more than once and it's worked, right? It won't work every time because sometimes it'd be like, oh, and I even told them, keep shopping around. Keep calling people, but this is going to be my rate if you want me in tomorrow night because I already planned my weekend. Thank you very much. Okay, so next, don't give away all your secrets. If you gotta have a bag of tricks that nobody else has, and don't tell the club everything in your bag of tricks. I'll give you one bag of trick thing I have. Somebody stole my bag of tricks not too long ago. That's another, whatever. I'll get more stuff. But I got this portable microphone shock mount, just for a regular vocal microphone, like an SM58. And there was a resonance problem on this podium one time at this corporate event. So I think they're expecting like 150, 160 people paying like $2,000 each to be there for a couple of days. And there was this, every time somebody hit their foot, it would resonate through the podium and the podium would resonate through the microphone. And that was a big deal. Obviously, because you're hearing this, and you could take out that tone with an equalizer, but if you could solve it another way, it's better, and then use your equalizer for actually proper tone control and not fixing a problem that's unnecessary like that. So, I'll get that in a minute. I'm making a video. That's probably my wife. I'm in the car making a video, honey. So, anyway, I pulled out this mini shock mount, and I put it on the thing. No problem. So you hit the podium, no resonance problem, and that tone wasn't there anymore. And the meeting planner said, well, how did you fix that? Because we've always had that problem. I said, well, I got a little bag of tricks. She goes, what else is in your bag of tricks? And I'm like, trade secret. I can't tell you everything. I would not share everything unless they were my students at the school where I teach at. I would not share everything with them, and I'd say, well, you know, this is just a bag of tricks. So have a really, really good bag of tricks and some secrets that you know about and that you maybe share with other sound people, and don't tell everybody about them, because some of them are actually quite simple fixes, but we don't want everyone to know that. I had a problem one time at this one club. I'm not mentioning any clubs here in case they, I don't know, see this and get mad, for highly unlikely, but they had an issue with a monitor for a drum kit. Like they had these powered wedges that they weren't meant for putting kick drums in. Come on, they were 12-inch drivers. Yeah, I forget the wattage, but you can't put a kick drum in there unless you super compress it and super high pass it. You're not going to put a kick drum in there because it will blow the fuse, and that's exactly what happened. So I told the manager, I said, hey, there's something wrong with that monitor right there. It's just I understand they keep putting the kick drum in there. And he goes, oh yeah, is that a problem? I go, yeah, now it doesn't work, it's broken. He goes, oh no, what do we do? And I said, let me figure it out. And I had my bag of tricks. I didn't tell him. I had the matching fuse, the proper fast blow, whatever, 5 amps or whatever it was. Replaced the fuse, which cost me 50 cents. And I said, yeah, well, I fixed the problem, but I'd be very careful from now on because you might have a show where you don't have a monitor for the drummer. And he was like, oh, thank you very much. Right? I didn't let him know that you could have just went to the store and bought this 50-cent fuse and put it in and just unscrew the thing and put it in. It was so simple. I'm not giving away that information. Anyway, so those are some ideas to highlight. Again, solidify your liaison skills, stress the importance of and be good at troubleshooting, raise your rates for emergency calls, and don't give away all your secrets. Anyway, as things progress and evolve in this COVID world, we're gonna end up doing live sound again in one way or the other, but keep these things in mind because as technology improves, people are going to start thinking about, oh, I could really save some money. As we come out of this situation slowly, very slowly, trust me, I don't believe that we're going to be out of it until early 2022, but that's my prediction. Mark it down. Or not, who cares? So as things start to pick up slowly but surely, we're not going to be allowed to have as many people in a club or a concert or whatever. So do I need a sound person every night? We've already lost money. A lot of places are just barely hanging on with government subsidies and whatever. So they're going to come back and go, well, we really got to think about how we're going to, make more money in the near future. So let's up the drink prices. Let's up the cover charges or whatever ways they're going to, increase prices. And they're probably going to say to some sound people, well, welcome back, but we, in order to survive, we can't pay you the rate we were paying you before, especially if you're a freelancer, you're not an employee. They can pay you what they want. But I think if sound people got together and basically said, no, I'm not working for that rate, they'd be, that could be shooting yourself in the foot again, because they might say, well, I've got a digital mixer now and I'm just going to press preset A, preset B. Now, I'm sort of a little bit guilty in this where I do have an EQ preset video that I put up, right? And anybody could carve in that 31 band EQ preset, or even it can work on a 15 band EQ as well. That was to help newer sound people get up and running quicker, and that preset actually works very well. So, but I'm not, again, that was 1 or 2 secrets I'm giving away. I'm not giving away all my secrets, especially to people who want to cheap out and not hire us anymore. So if you think it can happen, be very careful what you think, because it totally can happen with the way things are going and the way that we're going to have to slowly open up the economies and everything more. But those are my thoughts on that blog, and I hope you found this useful. If there's any discussion, let me know. If you absolutely hate this video, hate it. If you like it, like it. Please, I prefer if you like it and thumbs up so I can continue to make more videos. That's all I got to say for now. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. And I look forward to working on ways. I wrote this article for LinkedIn about how to clean microphones and keep them clean and stuff like that. Maybe I'll post a link as my effort, one of my efforts to help us get back into live shows, to show these government mandators or these kings or self-appointed emperors and stuff like that, that we could probably start reopening clubs and but that was my way how to treat microphones better, clean them and stuff like that, because that's the one thing people put their mouths on and stuff like that. But I'm going to make more articles about that, because I think we should be getting back to live shows. I don't see a worry about people getting like super spreading events and stuff like that if we do things the right way. Those are my thoughts. Have a great Sunday. Cheers for now.